welcome. I'm Lloyd, and this is the Dressing Gown Diary. No Teddy tonight, he's asleep, and the two Lewis brothers just don't want to get involved anymore, so you're just stuck with me, I'm afraid. Let's have a little chat through the quarterfinals. What a weekend of rugby that was. Every single game had stuff going on in the last few moments. Brilliant matches, 8 teams out on their feet. The last few minutes in most games were just walking pace because they'd just given so much. First game up was Wales against Argentina. Wales had a perfect start, 10-point lead, thinking, oh, this is easy. Josh Adams, what were you doing? Lucky not to be yellow carded. Argentina fight back in just before half-time with 2 penalties. Wales then go further in the lead. They take a 17-12 lead, but then can't close the game out. Argentina came back, brought the power game. No idea what happened with Nick Tompkins. That's got to be a penalty or a yellow card. Clear shoulder. The poor guy had to go off for an HIA, so Wales are then having to put Sam Costello in at 10 and Dan Biggar, who was barely walking, in at 12. A ridiculous situation, penalised for it, in fact. But still, that's rugby. Argentina did well. The crowd sounded amazing. The Argentinians going nuts. So fair play to Argentina. While it beguts me to say it, they were deserving winners. The Saturday evening game saw Ireland take on New Zealand and again fall short. Still haven't made it past the quarterfinal stage. This was probably their best opportunity, or was it? The way New Zealand started, they started like an absolute train. All Blacks really going at it. The TFL brothers were loving it as there were just contact, mongrel, bang, bang, bang. And it was such a good game, swinging both ways, really in the balance. The last passage of play, Ireland kept the ball alive for over 5 minutes, but it got to a point that both teams were basically walking. They had spent everything. It was an epic semi-final, quarter-final, really worthy of a semi or a final, but sadly not to be for Ireland. Third game of the weekend saw England host Fiji. Looked like they were cracking on very, very easily, comfortably in lead. But then it all started falling apart. Fiji fought back, 2 quick tries, converted. What a great performance, but unfortunately just came up short at the end. Fiji again giving it everything. England battling forward. Thank you. Cheers, boys. England battling forward to the semi-final. The last game of the weekend. Wow, what a game that was. The first 40 minutes of France-South Africa is surely the greatest test ever. Both teams going hammer and tong. Just barely any mistakes, though. Creative rugby, scoring points. France were very unlucky not to go 14-0 up. I still don't know how it wasn't a knock-on out in the wide channel. The South African lock, name eludes me at the moment, dive forward and managed to pull the ball back. If he'd missed it, France score and it's 14-0. If he gets it and it goes forward, it's a yellow card, maybe a penalty try. He somehow managed to get it into the passing channel and bring it backwards. I mean, the South Africans were gritty. I'm not quite sure why they didn't review whether the charge down of the conversion was legal. You've got the technology, why not use it? Was this questionable decision when it transpires that South Africa won by 1 point? It's no guarantee that France would have got the kick, but at least you've got to be given the opportunity to make a kick legally. But an unbelievable game again. Both teams out on their feet late on, just absolutely knackered, giving it everything. South Africa are so ferocious in their defence, but France soaked it up, cracked forward, and again, unfortunately, just came up short. Now, we move on to the semi-finals this weekend. My one concern I have is whether all teams that have progressed to the semi-final are just emotionally spent and physically ruined. It's hard to replicate the quality that we saw in those 4 quarter-final matches. But first up, we see New Zealand against Argentina. Argentina, of course, having secured their first win in New Zealand soil recently last year. Can they progress? Well, they're up against it. They've got an army of fans, and I'm sure Paris will be singing Argentinian songs tonight. But they are massively up against it. The bookmakers are offering, I think it's 10 or 11 points on the handicap. So really, the All Blacks are showing a different type of rugby. They are showing some intensity. They're throwing the ball around. They're being creative. They surely have too much. Surely have too much. My TFL brothers, they're getting a bit nervous, but don't worry, boys. You've got this. Hang tight. Second semi-final on Saturday. Tickets still available. See England take on South Africa. I mean, how far do England need to progress here? How much better do they need to play than they've played? Well, in my mind, they've got to get close to how they played against New Zealand in the 2019 semi-final. Can they do that? Have they got it within themselves? South Africa are just purring, though. Yes, I know they lost to Ireland in the opening, their second last fixture or whatever it was in the group stage. But South Africa just looks so brutal. They are executing exceptionally well. They are rotating their squad, which is something that a lot of teams haven't done. South Africa view this as tournament rugby. You've got to win 3 games of a week, 3 weekends on a row. So you need to make sure that your players are fresh. If you use every single player at the same time, it becomes very difficult. England have made changes as well, but more out of necessity with Smith injured and Freddie Stewart coming in at 15. But again, this just looks like a South African steamroller over England. Can they find a way through? If England can get them into an arm wrestle, keep it tight, kick well, receive, take the high ball well, they might get them into a scrap. But South Africa look like they've got too much. Still, it's an epic weekend of rugby. These are the games that no one wants to lose, though. No one wants to be playing in the 3rd and 4th playoff. This is your shot at glory. Get to the final, anything can happen. So who's got the guts? Who can do it? Let's find out later. Over and out.